alumni, community leaders, and partners who are here with us today. It's especially meaningful to gather in a place that represents so much to our university and to the state of New Mexico. This moment builds on a relationship that stretches back more than 4 decades, and today marks an important new chapter in that partnership. We'll begin with remarks from our speakers. After they speak, I'll call on members of the media to ask a few questions, followed by a brief photo opportunity behind us here. It's now my pleasure to introduce my boss, the president of the University of New Mexico, Garnett Stokes.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for being here in this truly iconic building. For nearly 60 years, this arena has been home to Lobo basketball, a place where our men's and women's teams have built a tradition of excellence, winning more than 80% of the time on this floor. Did you know that? I think that's pretty remarkable. But the reality is the pit has always been more than a basketball venue. It's a place where we gather to celebrate some of the biggest milestones in the lives of our Lobos. Each fall and spring, Lobos enter the building as students and they leave as alumni. And then in the years that follow, they return again and again as lifelong Lobo fans. It's a place where countless memories have been made. Crossing the well-lit stage to receive a UNM diploma in front of loved ones, watching one of the most dramatic upsets in NCAA tournament history in 1983, or more recently, celebrating in a sea of confetti as our Lobos clinched the Mountain West regular season title just last year. Over 6 decades, we have infused this building with our collective pride and spirit and our memories. So when we talk about a partnership that involves this building, we understand how much it matters. We know the pit is not just a structure. It is part of our identity. And that is precisely why partnership matters. Today, we are building on a relationship that began in 1985, a partnership rooted in shared values and in service to New Mexico. Nusenda has been part of this university community for more than 4 decades. Since 1936, they have served communities across our state. Over the years, they have invested millions in initiatives ranging from UNM Rainforest and Innovate ABQ to UNM Hospital and Popejoy. They are not new to this campus. They are not new to this state. They understand this place. And today, we are proud to expand that partnership through a new 10-year agreement that will serve to support the budget of UNM Athletics. As part of this partnership, we will preserve the identity of the pit that generations of Lobos cherish, while recognizing a partner that has long stood alongside our university. In today's collegiate athletics environment, long-term mission-aligned partnerships are absolutely essential. This agreement strengthens resources for our student athletes, sustains one of the most widely attended public venues in our entire state, and reflects what is possible when New Mexico institutions decide to invest in each other. We are grateful for Nusenda's leadership and for their continued confidence in the University of New Mexico. It is now my pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of Nusenda Credit Union, Michelle Deerholt. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you, President Stokes, and good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with you all today at one of the most iconic arenas in college athletics, alongside the president, our interim athletic director, Ryan Berryman, student athletes and coaches here with us today, and the special guests who support the Lobo community. This year, Nusenda is celebrating our 90th anniversary, and that means for nearly a century, we have been a stable, trusted financial partner for communities across New Mexico and West Texas. We're proud to hold a 5-star superior rating from Bauer Financial, a distinction we've earned for more than 20 years that reflects our long record of strength and stability. That recognition is meaningful because it places Nusenda among the strongest and most secure financial institution across the country, and that allows us to give back in meaningful and sustainable ways. So when the chance arose to build upon this 40-year relationship, it felt like a natural extension of who we are. Nusenda was built by educators. We were founded by educators in this community. And today, our strongest partners remain educational institutions across the state. Now, I'm sure you're all eager to know what this enhanced partnership looks like, so we've created a launch video, and I'm excited to share that you are the first group to see it. So let's watch that now. For 90 years, Nusenda Credit Union has believed in the power of people coming together to strengthen those around us, lift each other up, become more than we ever could on our own. Because our community is powerful.
Slam, no two-handed!
The power of coming together on third down.
I think the crowd gets the idea that they are a factor.
The power of creating momentum late in the game.
The power of a team by your side.
It's over!
The power of legacy.
The power of emotion.
Season was the result of a total team effort.
The power of chasing a dream.
And finally crossing the finish line.
The power of being together.
The power of community support.
What a win for Albuquerque and the University of New Mexico.
And here at the pit, that power is on display. It's the power of what we can do when we stand side by side. And our team at Nusenda Credit Union is ready to take our 40-year partnership with UNM to new heights. The pit will always be the pit, but starting today, it'll have even more power behind it. The power of we. We are thrilled to officially welcome you to the pit, powered by Nusenda. Go Lobos! Thank you. We're so excited for this expanded partnership and the naming rights agreement. I'd like to share a little bit about how we got there and what we reflected on with this special arena. This represents not only something to the university, but generations of New Mexicans. And because we're local, Nusenda understands the significance of the pit. We know its history, we know its magic, because we're fans too. And we also knew that if we were going to do this, it had to be done in a way that honored that history and respected this iconic venue while strengthening the future of the Lobo community. This name reflects exactly what we set out to do: preserve what matters most while strengthening and powering what comes next. The pit will forever be the pit, right? And Nusenda is honored to stand behind it, powering our athletes, powering programs, powering our community. Powered by is a nod to our tagline that you've seen for years, the power of we. And the message of that is simple: we can accomplish more when we work together. We have been committed to giving back to our members and our communities for decades, and we will continue to do so. Today is another step in that journey, one that not only strengthens our long-standing partnership with the university, but encourages our community to support Lobo Nation now and for years to come. Thank you again for being here and for your support. And before I hand it off to Ryan, I'd like to personally support a few partners that brought this moment to life with us. Our friends at Playfly Sports, Brent Moore and Danny Belinsky. Of course, our friends at the University of New Mexico, President Stokes, Ryan Berryman, Jalen Dominguez. And last but certainly not least, our team at Nusenda. Many of them are here, and including our consultants, Jan Turi and Drew Annis. This has been a long time in the making, and we're finally here. Go Lobos.
Well, what an incredible moment and incredible leadership on stage here today between President Stokes and Michelle. It is an honor for me to be here today to recognize this partnership between two of New Mexico's most identifiable brands, the New Mexico Lobos and Nusenda Credit Union. Over the past year, we've seen what's possible when an entire community rallies behind the Lobos. We've seen national championship cross-country runners wear our turquoise. We've seen records broken on the gridiron. We've seen magical moments in the pit. And we set record in team GPAs, the number of conference championships, and now in levels of corporate partnership. In this era of collegiate athletics, sustained excellence requires collective investment. Nusenda's commitment to Lobo Athletics today is more than a financial investment. It's a statement of values. In a moment when athletics is changing fast, they're choosing to double down on what matters most, and that's our people, our student athletes, our coaches, and our staff. Nusenda has built their reputation on putting people over profits, and you can see it in the way they show up for our community, as evidenced today. As Michelle shared, they've spent decades lifting others up, expanding opportunity, and proving that when you invest in people, entire communities can succeed. So now we forge a new path into the future together, 37 feet underground in the pit powered by Nusenda. I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to thank the people that made today possible, particularly on our Lobo Athletics staff. For the last 12 to 18 months, our Lobo staff has built trust, instilled confidence, and imagined what this day could look like. In particular, I'd like to thank Jalen Dominguez, Deputy Athletic Director and Chief Revenue Officer, and Brent Moore, General Manager of UNM Sports Properties, for their work. I've seen firsthand their level of dedication, care, and attention to detail, and I'm very grateful to call them colleagues. This is truly a cross-campus partnership. Early in the process, under Michelle's leadership, we engaged our renowned faculty at the Anderson School of Management to conduct focus groups about how people felt about the pit, how people felt about naming the pit, and how to best execute this partnership. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize Dr. Catherine Roster from the Anderson School of Management, Professor of Marketing and Director of the Behavioral Health Lab. She donated her time, energy, and effort to this process, and I can attest, having once been a student in her classroom, that she is absolutely the best in the business in her field. So thank you, Dr. Roster. This is a historic moment for our athletic department, and I hope the entire community is inspired by what is possible through the power of we collectively. I look forward to celebrating this new partnership with 15,411 of our closest friends on Saturday in the pit. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you to our speakers. At this time, I'd like to invite members of the media to raise their hand if you have any questions. Frank has a microphone here for you. Please say your name, your outlet, and who you're asking the question for. Jeff?
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. This is for all three of you. I'm going to start with President Stokes. This isn't the first journey down this path with naming rights of this building, and I'm curious if there was any trepidation on the university's part to do this again, or if the finances made it a necessity to do that.
This is a great day for celebrating a partnership that has existed with the university and Nusenda for decades. So there has been no trepidation whatsoever about really expanding this partnership to new heights. I think that we know that college athletics has been changing dramatically, and we know that these partnerships are more important than ever for our Lobos to be successful. So we are absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity to work with Nusenda. We think we've found an outstanding partner for our institution and for Lobo athletics.
And Michelle, similar to that question, the history of your partnership with UNM. You guys were already partnering with UNM. You guys didn't necessarily have to do this. I'm curious why, why you decided to go ahead and do this, because there were two past times that this happened, and the community was real protective of the pit and wanted to make sure that it was done right. So there was some risk in that maybe. But also, are any of those prior relationships or existing relationships cutting back in any way because of this?
Thank you for the question. We have really thought about that relationship and how we could continue to deepen it. This isn't the only opportunity that we have been discussing with the University of New Mexico. We are excited to deepen relationships across the entire campus, and that's something that's been really important to me. And in our messaging, that it's not only around athletics, but it's also about the university holistically. And so we continue to look for those. We do all the time. Again, they're one of our longest partners, and so there's no way that we would step back on any of the things that we're doing. So, you know, the trepidation, I know that there was a lot of history and noise around other naming rights, but that's why both sides really took the time to think about what a strong partnership would look like moving forward and who's the right partner for this, and giving our partnership, our history together, who Nusenda is in the community, this made sense.
Will Weber from the Santa Fe New Mexican. Ryan, I want to start with what you ended off with, how you went to the Anderson School to get feedback from what people wanted for the naming rights for this building. This is a pretty special place, and it seems like people are always going to refer to it as the pit. I'm just curious, what kind of feedback did you get from people about this?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Will. And candidly, right, that effort was led by Nusenda under Michelle's leadership, and she had the foresight to consider that as we went through this process. And so the feedback was great, right? I think that it probably changed and morphed a few times based on the feedback they got. And so there was no name going into that process, right? There was no preconceived notions going into those focus groups. But here we are today celebrating the product that came of that effort. And so I'm incredibly thrilled today to be here and appreciate the work that was done to get us here.
Roger Holian, Mountain West Connection. Now, what actually made this such a natural fit? I mean, where do you see UNM in this relationship? I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on in the sports world in college athletics. I mean, this is a natural fit. Nusenda, I've been a member 20 years. Great fit for the program, great fit for keeping the pit name. Where do you see this going eventually? At a higher level?
Well, first, thank you for your membership. We appreciate that. I think the sky's the limit. I mean, college athletics is in a new era. We're all witnessing what's happening with name, image, and likeness, transfer portal. You know, it's more volatile than it has been before. And so I can't really predict what that looks like in the future. But what I do know is that the university needs stable partners to help them through it. And that's where we feel like we could really be a part of this, and hopefully it inspires other organizations in our community to step forward and support them as well.
Hi. Daniel Zuniga, CPS, and I just wanted to ask, I mean, how can you just walk me back to the day that this really started materializing, this new partnership? Just for anybody, sorry.
Sure. Well, the team was laughing because it was 1 year and 1 month to the day that we signed the agreement. So it was a long time ago, although it really feels super fast. But we were talking with the university about what the next step could look like and what kind of partnerships that the athletics program really needed. And really it was kind of around the birth time of name, image, and likeness, and where things were changing. And what we saw was a lot of great momentum. I see Coach Eck here, Coach Olin's here, our track and field, I don't see that coach, but there's so much going on, and we feel like we can really support that continued momentum going forward. So we're excited about the partnership.
Michelle,
No. I can hear you, but I'm sure others can't.
Hello, Michelle. So I see you at a lot of the football games, the basketball games. Can you give me your top 3 moments like this past year from UNM Athletics?
Yes. Well, today. Does that count? Today, obviously. And the game that took us to the Rate Bowl. So I was fortunate enough to be on the sidelines of that game. And one more, the Rate Bowl, the actual Rate Bowl. Yes, we had the opportunity to go to the Rate Bowl, and what an amazing experience. In 1 year's time. I mean, Coach Eck is the most popular person in the room. It's not us, unfortunately. But in just 1 year's time, I mean, the football program, the basketball program, the baseball program, the track and field program, man, everyone's exceeding expectations in just 1 year, and we all need to be proud and supportive of what the program's doing. Yes, Saturday night.
So Ryan, Michelle kind of touched on the NIL aspects of this. I'm just kind of curious, can you kind of delve into that a little bit more of how much of a sense of urgency there was to have a partnership like this to help you guys kind of fund some of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, as I mentioned kind of in my remarks, in this era, it's going to take collective investment from the entire community to propel us to where we hope to go. And I think, the onset of the House settlement and the rules changing July 1st, that video that just watched that featured our student athletes promoting a company wasn't allowed before that date, right? And so now's the time to advance that mission, and I think we've seen the result when we invest in those spaces. And just look back on the last year that we've had and the success that we've had. So there's never been a better time than now. And as I mentioned, and Michelle mentioned as well, hopefully this is the first in many new partnerships throughout our community to help drive us forward.
And I know that we all have the release, but can you kind of explain kind of the terms of the deal, I guess you could say?
Yeah, so for everyone in the audience and everyone in the media, we've got ahead of a lot of that stuff with some frequently asked questions that we knew would come up, and so those terms can all be found online, and it was our agreed effort to be very transparent in that initiative. And so do you want to talk to it, or do you mind if I talk to it? Okay. So it's a 10-year agreement. It starts at $1.5 million and has a 3% escalator year over year, and as I mentioned, all the terms and some of the finer details can be found in this online FAQ.
Robert Portnoy, UNM Sports Properties. I think the name is terrific, and I wanted to ask how long it took to come to the name, how many iterations we went through, and how did you settle on this, because I love it.
Thank you so much. We love it too. We want people to still call it the Pit as well, and that's one of the things that we learned, or I would say reiterated from the focus groups, was the Pit's going to be the Pit, and people aren't going to call it anything different, so why try, right? And so, our belief is that we're lifting up and we're supporting, and so it was a natural fit for us to say, well, the power of we has been a tagline we've used for decades, and we talk about how we power communities and we power programs. And so honestly, there wasn't that many iterations at all. It was Nusenda's original idea, and I think we just want to confirm that with others in the community, and we found that was true for them too.
One follow-up. President Stokes, or even Ryan can answer this too, but you have a big building right across the street that doesn't have a name on it. You have a baseball field right over here that doesn't have a name on it. Is this the start of something, not necessarily with Nusenda, but with other entities where you have naming rights for different venues?
I have little doubt. I'm sure this is the beginning.
We have to pursue every creative path to revenue generation in this modern day and age. So certainly, we're going to have some sensitivity there around this partnership, and we're not going to pursue that with other financial institutions. But we're open to naming rights going forward.
Ryan, the check that comes every year or twice a year, is that going to just a big pot of operations, or when you say it's going to help Olympic sports, and you guys have mentioned NIL and rev share quite a bit, is every athlete at UNM going to be able to get and experience some rev share opportunities, at least in part because of this?
Yeah, I appreciate the question, Jeff. I think, we've made a conscious effort as a leadership team to prioritize that in the future ahead. I go back to our Lobo Club Gala in the fall, which Jalen spearheaded, and our targeted fundraising initiative was to create NIL opportunities for every sport, right? We have over 400 student athletes. I think it's probably challenging to say that every student athlete will be under an agreement, but we certainly made that a priority to prioritize every sport through that effort. I'll also say that, we're on very stable footing financially as an athletic department. And I think when you're in that position, we've seen a lot of athletic departments that are not in that position. Every new dollar that comes in, we can be targeted in our approach. And so we're not filling a hole, we're not plugging a gap. We can choose collectively how we want to invest that new investment. And so I think that's what's really exciting about this partnership in particular.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Thank you to our speakers and to Nusenda for your support of the University of New Mexico Lobos. At this time, I'm going to ask all of you to come around the back of the stage where we're going to have a photo opportunity. And I want to say that we appreciate Nusenda's leadership and look forward to the future of Lobo Athletics in the pit, powered by Nusenda. Thank you all.
For 90 years, Nusenda Credit Union has believed in the power of people coming together to strengthen those around us, lift each other up, become more than we ever could on our own. Because our community is powerful.
Slam, no two-handed! The power of coming together on third down.
I think the crowd gets the idea that they are a factor.
The power of creating momentum late in the game.
The power of a team by your side.
The power of legacy.
The power of emotion.
Season was the result of a total team effort.
The power of chasing a dream.
And finally crossing the finish line.
The power of being together.
The power of community support.
What a win for Albuquerque and the University of New Mexico.
And here at the pit, that power is on display. It's the power of what we can do when we stand side by side. And our team at Nusenda Credit Union is ready to take our 40-year partnership with UNM to new heights. The pit will always be the pit, but starting today, it'll have even more power behind it. The power of we. We are thrilled to officially welcome you to the pit, powered by Nusenda. Go Lobos!